Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche was shy about many things. And honestly, so many things seemed out of reach for him. And even more, so many things just seemed weird to be heard by him. So, being called endearing, cute, or anything like that, it just seemed unlikely and pretty senseless. He was scary, intimidating. So being called cute was something that was simply unrealistic and unlikely to happen, and quite insulting to him. That's why no one ever tries to call him cute nicknames like that. Cutie, sweetie are things he's never heard, not even from his mother, who really just abandoned him as soon as he was born, or rather brought into life, created by her. So really, all he's ever known was being a puppet, or a fledgling, perhaps a creation. All of those disregarding nicknames. The nicknames that has hurt him, and the nicknames that always reminded him that he would never have a heart, no matter what, because what he was simply a creation of a god. He was not someone with feelings. He was simply a puppet who happens to have a semblance of human emotion. But none of it was probably even real anyway. It was confusing and rather annoying. But it was the truth. It was something he knew very well. And quite frankly, it was something that bothered him constantly. Or at least that was the case until the two started dating. To Scaramouche, you were like medicine to his heart. You made him see so many parts of himself that even he did not realize existed. So if anything, he was more than happy to have you by his side, to be able to call you his. But still, his point stands. He was scary, and that was something that would simply not change. Even when he had to cuddle you to sleep sometimes. Even when you would curl up in your arms, like he was a tiny cat. Even when you would hold him and read him a story at night to reassure him when he was unable to sleep. And even when you would stroke his hair, telling him how soft it is, and how he's the most beautiful person you've ever seen. Yes, even then, he would like to think he was still intimidating. He doesn't like not being scary. Somehow, it just feels unusual, and he wouldn't be able to know how to deal with that information. But you do, and you knew that your Scaramouche was the cutest sweetheart all around. And even if you did not actually know that yet, you did, and that was enough for the two of you. Because someday, you would be able to get him to see things your way. And that's the mission that you embarked on, and the mission that you sought to succeed in. Hey, Skara, could you come over here? You said. And even though he was quite hesitant, because he just felt like there was something up with you today, something that you couldn't identify, but he knew it was no good whatsoever, especially if you're being that mysterious. But still, he had no choice but to listen to you. He didn't want to make you sad after all. So, he listened and came over, only to see you holding a cute dress in hand. Would you wear that for me? You ask, smiling, and he goes bright red. Wear what? What are you even holding? Wyan, you can't be serious. This is insulting, he says. And he looks quite pouty, glaring at you the hardest that he could, even though it barely looks scary to anyone. It was honestly the equivalent of a tiny cat getting mad at you and trying to look intimidating. But still, it did not change the fact that he was the most adorable boyfriend all around. So really, it was something that was not going to work on you. Come on, please, Scaramouche. All of you, he said, looking at him with your big lovely eyes that he could never actually resist. And after turning away from you, crossing his arms and pouting for a while, he then let out a resigned sigh. Fine then. I guess I will try. But don't you dare tease me, okay? He said, pointing at you accusingly, and he laughed softly, not responding, since you didn't want to lie to him, because you would absolutely tease the hell out of him. In the end, he ended up wearing the dress and called you over back into the room to see how it looks like on him. He was a blushing mess, hugging himself with his arms and trying not to focus on the way that you were eating him up with your gaze. Scaramouche, you know you look absolutely wonderful, right? He blushed redder at that, shaking his head stubbornly and decidedly looking away from you. Cease that behavior, Ryan, he said, and you were laughing harder, looking over at him adoringly, before walking over to his side. But you know what? You don't only look wonderful, no, but something else too. What is it? He then decided to ask after a few moments of silence, and you smiled at that. You look adorable, Scaramouche, like the absolute sweetheart you are. Now that's a series of words he didn't expect to hear, not in his entire life. What? He said, looking up at you, and you were kind of concerned because of how red his cheeks were. And then you leaned down, giving him a soft kiss. You heard me. You know you're cute, don't you? I feel like you're just using your cuteness against me now. I can't really resist you when you're in this dress. Ryan, what are you even saying? He said, getting a little bit nervous, while you just pulled him into your arms gently, kissing him and deepening it, your hand going to tangle in his hair. And that's when Scaramouche lost it, burying his face into your neck as he pulled away. He was trembling with nervousness, feeling overwhelmed, and that's when you felt a little bit upset, feeling like you were guilty because you neglected him. Oh, Scaramouche, did it really go too far? You asked nervously, and he just shook his head, hugging you tightly. I just need a moment, and then we can continue. I like it, I'm just surprised. That's all. He said shyly, and that's when he smiled again, stroking his hair gently and waiting until he calms down. But truly, that just proves that he will always be your cutie, no matter how much he denies it.